So unprofessional, Nika. Keep your composure, Nika, okay? This is serious. This is legit, okay? This is a serious topic. I like to make things fun. Even weird ass topics like the one we're going to be talking about because, guys, Nika here. Happy hump day, babe. Hump day is the best day ever. It's literally all downhill from here, babe. You have to be a little bit delulu sometimes and lie to yourself like, oh my God, it's a Wednesday. It's basically Friday. That's how I get through life. Did you guys see my cool sweater, by the way? Now, we're going to be talking about the knife sheath. Super sus. Where are the pictures? Lip balm from work. It was free. I think it's Medline. And Temu, because I'm cheap and broke. Dang. If you overline, your lips look so fat that people will accuse you of injections. Let's talk about the sheath. Where are the pictures? I don't want to hear it. Oh, Nika, you're not very smart. They're not going to release the pictures because it's covered in blood. I mean, red fluid. It's covered in red fluid. Really? Really? Because all the other pictures have been released and there was red fluid in those pictures. So show us the sheath. At this point, we have seen nothing regarding the sheath. There is no actual evidence proving that the sheath exists. Okay. We have statements of pain, which we've seen his and Mary's bullshit statements, right? But I mean actual evidence. Where are the pictures of this sheath? Now, let's use some common sense. Let's uh remind me where was this sheath found? Okay, let's talk about where it was found. Okay, it was found underneath Maddie. And guess what? It wasn't found right away. When we look at the affidavit, when we look at the PCA, there is no actual mention, no actual description of when the sheath was found. They're like, it was found sometime later. When, bitch? When? Because again, this is very important. It should be a detailed PCA. I don't want to hear this nonsense of, yeah, it was found sometime later. When sometime later? Again, let's talk about where it was found. This was found underneath Maddie, and guess what? Maddie and Kaylee were both found under a blanket. Why does that matter? So we're supposed to believe that Brian Kohlberger was attacking the girls, got interrupted by Xana, and then magically dropped the sheath and then chased after her. But let's wait. And then he stopped to cover them up first, right? With the blanket. See how that doesn't make any sense? And let's not even get into the amount of stab wounds. Okay? 30 to 50, something like that. What does that indicate? That indicates that the sheath would have been definitely soaked. It would have been soaked. These girls were under a blanket. So wait, he chased after Xana and then covered them with a blanket. He came back to cover them with a blanket. See how the story doesn't add up? For those of you who are new in here, welcome. For those of you who are new here, you may not know all of the details. Okay, Kaylee and Maddie were covered in a blanket. So what the fuck? And remember, he did this all under 7 minutes. Again, the amount of stab wounds would mean that the sheath would be soaked. I have shown you my very own K-bar and my very own sheath from my good old Navy days. Okay, you've seen it. That sheath is pretty large and it's leather. Leather absorbs liquid. And when I showed you guys my very own sheath up close, you see all the stitching around. The stitching would have red fluid. Okay. Who covered the girls up? Who covered Kaylee and Maddie up? They were covered with a blanket. We're actually supposed to believe that Brian Koberger had all the time in the world, right? He only left just barely enough DNA on the snap button on the sheath to be tested one time throughout this entire supposedly murder scene, right? He did all of that and then still had time to cover the girls up. You think this man actually had time to worry about covering up the victims? It's weird. And then this is not even assuming that if his knife was not in the sheath and he ran downstairs and then he unalived Zan and Ethan and then he supposedly left out the back door, the sliding door in the kitchen, all while the knife is supposed to just be out and about, right? No sheath. Then that would mean that there would be way more blood droplets than there were found if he is carrying this knife throughout the house that is not covered by a sheet. There would be so much red fluid droplets throughout. Okay. I know that people, myself included, we are still open to maybe Brian was involved in one way or another, right? We have to remain open minded. But the truth of the matter is that all of what we have seen, all of the documents that have been released, that have dropped, none of them indicate that Brian was involved whatsoever. If somebody can show me something proving that he was even there, then yeah, sure, I'll be open minded. Show me the evidence, but I'm not gonna believe shit just because. But he pled guilty, Nika. Okay, let it go. Okay, stop talking about Dylan. Okay, okay, okay. They're innocent. I hope they sue you, Nika. I hope you apologize to them. I will apologize to them when they show me the evidence that Brian Koberger was actually there. Because again, according to even Bill Thompson, what did he say? No connection to the victims. No stalking of the victims. So wait, again, we're supposed to believe, according to the narrative, according to the guilters, that Brian Koberger had time to cover Maddie and Kaylee with a blanket, but he didn't have time to notice that there was a massive fucking 7-inch knife sheet right by them. Like, how would he not notice that? He would have noticed that, right? And then when we go back in time, back to the PCA, what do we see in that statement? Oh, magically, again, the sheath was found later. They never specify when, they never specify how much later. And then they mention that the police saw it from the doorway. How the fuck did you see it from the doorway if it was under Maddie and Maddie was under a blanket? Oh, see how it doesn't make sense? See how it doesn't make sense? Suds, this case fires a hemorrhoid. See how it doesn't make sense? How are you seeing a sheath from the doorway if it's under Maddie and Maddie's under a blanket? Do you have some magical superpower that we don't know about? Do you have x-ray vision? These amazing eyeballs, that you can see through blankets and from the doorway you can just there must be a sheath there. Okay. But also, you can't see anything right in front of their faces, right? Like, the basic shit that they missed. Interesting. And remember, all of this in the very short timeline of 7 minutes. Okay. We are at a point, ladies and gentlemen, where this entire case needs to be thrown out. It needs to be scrapped. And the FBI needs to step in. They need to take over instead of Dateline and all these news channels spinning narratives again to this day. I was scrolling through social media and guess what I saw today? Pictures, fake AI pictures of Brian Koberger. It is so obviously AI. And people are saying, oh, that was Brian. He was hiking. It's all these AI pictures saying that he took like, I don't know, 50 pictures before he unalived the girls. This literally is people out there creating AI images, and then there's a whole slew of idiots that are like, "Oh my god, he's even more creepier than we believed. We'd only seen the one picture." Again, spinning their own narratives, right? Again, Koberger is supposed to be the greatest unaliver, greatest ninja, greatest planner to ever exist, but he magically forgot a sheath. Interesting. And what's scary is how many people have reached out to me on Instagram now 3 years later. And they've told me, I used to believe the media narrative, Nika. They sold it to us so well. And now I'm so embarrassed looking at how little evidence there is. Yeah, I mean, I hate to say I told you so, but it's the media. Obviously, they're going to make these clickbait stories. They get paid per clickbait story, right? They don't get paid uh to analyze all the legal documents, the boring legal documents that nobody wants to read. So, is it possible that the knife sheath is planted? Again, does the knife sheath even exist? Or is it possible that the sheath was already in the house and belonged to somebody that lived in that house? In the past, I have theorized, what if it belonged to one of the victims? Right? We know that Brian Koberger is a vegan, so very strict vegans will not have anything, try to not have anything that's made of animals. And we know that this sheath is leather. So, was there even a knife sheath? At this point, I'm wondering, was there even a knife sheath? Because if there was a knife sheath, where is it? Where are the pictures? Why aren't they releasing those pictures? There are no reasons that those images should not be released. I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it. Okay. There's way too many inconsistencies with this case, and it doesn't make any sense, right? Look, and if Brian Koberger had been covered in head to toe, like everybody is speculating, which supposedly that would explain the lack of DNA, right? But there would be technically fibers that were found from the suit that he was wearing. Or there would have been skin cells or hair that would have transferred onto the suit as he was wearing it, right? Because from what it looks like, when we look at the descriptions of the victims, it looks like a struggle took place. So, where's the hair? Where are the skin cells? And why exactly was only the DNA from the sheath sent off to Idaho State Police? They didn't send the entire sheath. They only sent the DNA from the sheath to ISP, but all in Moscow. Months. It sat there for months. And then what happened? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, another coincidence. Oh my gosh. A broken fridge. Wow, a broken fridge that destroyed all of that evidence before it got tested. right? And I'm sorry, but are we supposed to believe that he actually walked in there with a sheath on this K bar? How the fuck does that make sense? This is a man who has never been at 1122 King Road. He doesn't know who is in the house, who is not in the house. There are random vehicles there. We know that Ethan was there. Ethan um was not really supposed to be there. Kaylee was not really supposed to be there. And this is somebody who's just going in blind, like they don't know what they're about to find, not actually blind. Um, and they're walking in there with a sheath on their knife. That doesn't make any sense. This is a mastermind. Remember, he would be walking in there, in my opinion, with the sheath not on the K bar because you don't know what's coming at you. You don't know who's coming towards you, so you have to be ready with the K bar without a sheath. Why in the world would you carry a knife in a sheath when you know you're about to use it to unalive people? What the fuck would be the point of that? Show us a picture of the sheath. Prove that it actually exists. Okay. And when we look at the documents, and the first one that I mentioned, guys, Lil Payne, Tater Tot Payne, what did he say? That the sheath was next to Maddie's hip. But then the newer document mentioned an FBI guy saying that it was found under Maddie. So was it next to Maddie's hip or was it under Maddie? Again, so many inconsistencies within the legal documents that, yeah, it's concerning. Or maybe, just maybe, this is my opinion. These are my theories. These are for entertainment purposes only. But if there was no sheath, now people are starting to ask questions. Where's the sheath? We haven't seen the sheath. We haven't seen pictures of the sheath. Is it possible that now that they're being asked these questions, Moscow PD is going to do what Moscow PD does best and they're just going to magically produce a picture of a sheath? Okay. Feels like it was placed by a dirty little cop. That's what it feels like. Is it possible that the sheath was planted to make it look like there was only one weapon used? It's very convenient to leave that. By the way, just because you find a fucking sheath doesn't mean that that's the weapon that was used, right? I could probably put about 20 different knives in my sheath. Maybe more. It doesn't have to be a K bar. So, and the guilters haven't forgotten, or I mean, they have forgotten that the sheath supposedly also has unknown blood DNA on it. Never tested. Never tested. And for people who believe that Brian Kohlberger was wearing a hazard suit, then where the hell was the sheath and the belt attached to? If he's wearing a hazmat suit, was he planning to carry the sheath in his free hand the whole time? See how that doesn't make sense either? It doesn't make sense, right? Please, please. People were saying BK was wearing like a hazmat kind of suit to protect his clothes from red fluid. So what? Now we're supposed to believe, oh, well, he was actually wearing the belt over the suit. Like, come on, bro. Use your common sense. Okay. Again, at this point, the FBI should have taken over. They should take over. This has been botched from the get-go. Now the house is conveniently destroyed. Evidence has been gone. Evidence has been destroyed. All coincidentally, of course, that warehouse that held a lot of the evidence magically caught on fire. Then that fridge that held a lot of the evidence magically broke down, and nobody checked for over 12 hours on that DNA. What does this mean? It means the FBI needs to take over. It means that there is probably, in my opinion, it's very likely that there are one, if not more, dirty cops in Moscow. And again, this is not that far fetched for people who believe that you should trust a cop just because they're a cop. You're in for a rude fucking awakening. Like, hello, 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 hello. Trust me, I'm a cop. For real? And I say this with an open mind. And I say this as somebody who was raised by a family of law enforcement. And I say this as somebody who is literally in the fucking active duty military. Okay? Do not trust people blindly, especially those with uniforms and badges and guns. Okay? Why? Because statistics show that those people tend to have higher percentages of people who are psychopathic. Okay, you know what that means? They're fucked up in the head. They don't give a shit about me or you. They will do whatever it takes to get whatever they want. Okay? All of this is fucking disgusting. And I get it. I understand that there's pictures that are not allowed to be released right now due to pending lawsuits within the families of the Chapins and the Mogans and the city of Moscow, because the city of Moscow is like, the Chapins and the Mogans don't want that stuff released, right? And Moscow PD said that they are not going to release any additional photos of the rooms of the victims until the court actually rules on this matter. But we're not asking to see pictures of Maddie and Kaylee carved in too. We're asking to see the knife sheath that you claim to have. If I remember correctly, Hitler didn't even see the sheath himself. Did he not say the alleged knife sheath? He did say the alleged knife sheath. Right? The knife sheath is the sole piece of evidence that ties Koberger to this case. The alleged knife sheath. So, where is it? Where is it? Who's in the chat, guys? Who's in the chat? And now, before I forget, now we have people coming out saying, "Whoa, there was actually way more DNA." The people that ran the DNA, Othram, wasn't it the guy from Othram that said, "Well, there was way more DNA, that was on the crime scene." Way more than has been publicly mentioned. So you're lying again. So you're fucking lying again, right? Because if they actually had more DNA that was better than touch DNA, why wouldn't they be using that? They would be using that. Unless they're referring to the shit that was never tested, and then that we don't even know who it belongs to. They never even bothered to test it. They got Brian's DNA and they're like, "We're good. We have our guy. We're gonna go with this one. Yeah, we'll go with this one." Who's in the chat, guys? I'm done. I'm done for the day. I'm just done. Hello, Hot by Gravy. Hello, Nadine. Thank you so much for the kind comments. Hello, Suds. Christy, thank you for the kind comments. Hello, my pal Sal. Hello, Laura Truelove. Welcome. Hello, Glenn. Yeah, the 5-day rule is a good idea. Yeah, I started to do that because there's so many losers. I don't want to deal with losers. Like, bro. And it's not about people who have differing opinions. That's not what I mean. It's just sometimes before I put the 5-day rule, they were just all up in here, like being dumb. Ooh, Christy says this case drives me crazy. I've been arguing with so many people about this with the guilt terrors. I can't believe people are so gullible. Yeah, they are. And of course, this case has me in a chokehold. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. Why? Because it doesn't sit right at all. Okay, the story that they're telling us, it's so far away from the truth. It's a matter of time. Everything will come to light. Just wait and see. Just wait and see. Because every year that passes, we get more information, don't we? And every year that passes, Mr. Brian Koberger looks more and more innocent, does he not? And every year that passes, the roommates look way more suspicious, do they not? Suds, it was found underneath Maddie. It was found beside Kaylee. It was found in the leprechaun's empty pot of gold. Exactly. Nadine says if someone's covers someone, that makes it personal. I agree. Hot Pie Gravy's already voting. Woo woo, got his vote in. Right? If you think that this fact that we haven't seen images of the alleged Sheath yet is fucking weird, leave a 1. If you think there's an amazing reason why they haven't shown us, I mean, again, this was supposedly a really horrible crime scene. Then the Sheath, if it was found under the girls, it should have been covered in red fluid. So, meaning what? Meaning that there would be way more DNA than just on the button, right? Welcome, Steven. Welcome, Squirrel Kisses. Welcome, Layla. So it says, at this point, I'm surprised that aliens haven't been blamed for what happened that night. Exactly. Yeah, Christy says, an MPD dared to say it could have been done in 90 seconds. What the fuck? And people don't blink an eye to that. That's what's concerning to me. Okay, we obviously have corrupt cops. If cops are having the nads to put this stupid ass statement out there saying that some random stranger that has never set foot inside 1122 King Road could unalive 4 people, 4, man, dare I say, large people, dare I say, athletic people. Okay, Ethan was tall, Xana was very athletic. Okay, all these people on different floors in 90 seconds, and people aren't blinking an eye. They're just like, yeah, totally, I could totally see it because Ted Bundy, that was completely different, by the way. Court says, thank you. Psychologically, it indicates someone close and remorse. Speaking of remorse, what did you guys think about yesterday's live? Did you see that picture in the thumbnail? Are those bruises on Dylan's arm? Because to me, they look a lot like bruises. I don't think that's a tattoo. And now, you're right, Steven. They're saying that there was plenty of DNA left all over the sheath when up till now it was wiped clean. So what the hell's going on? What the hell's going on? Laura, I'm with you. That's my current opinion regarding Mr. Koberger. I don't think he was ever there whatsoever. In the very beginning, I'm like, maybe he had some ties to somebody there. I don't think so. I don't think he knows anybody in that home. I don't think he has any ties to anyone there whatsoever. Hello, Elizabeth. Stop picking on Dylan. We're not picking on her, right? That is hilarious when people say that because, again, we all know damn well that if Dylan was a dude Or if the two surviving roommates were male, they would be in fucking jail. Let's be real. Sally, was Brian Kohlberger's grandmother Italian? Hmm? Suds, you want to make a short film? Go for it, man. Go for it. Elizabeth, this is an astute observation about the knife sheath of a 7-inch knife going unnoticed if BK covered them in it with a blanket. Yeah. Hello, John. Welcome. Yeah, how I wish we could get a do-over. Let's start all over. Let's start from scratch, right? Hello, vibrations from Mirror. Much love to Nika 4.0. Thank you. Have a great day. Don't let AI replace you. Oh my lord. I hope not. AI can't replace me. I'm too ADD. Squirrel Kisses says Brian told people he was German. But author claiming he's Italian. I'd love to see his pie chart breakdown. Does it matter? Like, I'm just curious. Why? Or are you guys just curious? Squirrel Kisses says, would a vegan choose a canvas sheath over leather? That's a hard one for me. Like, yes and no. I'm vegan myself, but I'm not like strict. Like, I don't eat things from animals, but I do have some boots that I've had for like 2 decades and they're leather. And I have my K bar that I got while I was in the military, and that sheath is leather. So I don't know. Yeah, of course there's leather alternatives. There's so many vegan leathers made from like pineapple leather, agave leather, um, all kinds of plant-based leathers. Um, but again, it's hard to know. I have a feeling that he is very, very strict, like a very, very strict vegan, because people had mentioned, I think it was his family members that had mentioned that he even threw the pots away that he had where people used to cook meat on it because he was like got brand new pots. And for me, it's like my family is not vegan. I make non-vegan meals for my family, right? But I still use the same pots. Like, yeah, I'll wash them. Like if I cooked meat or whatever, I'll wash them and then I'll cook my whatever on it. But I have a feeling that because Brian was so strict with that, I have a feeling he wouldn't keep leather things. But that's just my opinion. Too fast for fleas. Hello. That's so true, Suds. Kohlberger's story has never changed. But whose story keeps changing? Dylan. Not a fan of Dylan. Not a fan of Bethany either. Sorry, guys. I'm in the crab top. My God. Contaminated crime scene by the students, by the cops, by Hunter, by Emily, by Dylan, by Bethany, by everybody that fucking went in that house, right? I don't know. Like, I know a lot of you guys have mentioned that it's a psyop. It's possible. Because when I watched that video of the cop, like right behind Ethan or right behind Hunter, Hunter's carrying the knife. And he's like, bro, like, what kind of cop lets somebody walk in front of them with a weapon? It's protocol. You tell them to put it down. Thompson was on scene. Maybe he planted it. At this point, you never know. You never know. Twat waffle. To do a live with somebody else? Ooh. Maybe one day when I have time. Thank you. These are at the moment very sporadic. Sometimes I'm here at 2:30, 3:30, 4. It depends on my job. But I would love to do lives with several people. That'd be amazing. John says it's disturbing that he held his position for so long. Thompson, Thompson, Thompson. Good old Santa Claus. And Suds says no pics of the bodies being removed from the house. Right? They were sent to the morgue and not the coroner's office. Awkward. And 2 bodies were reported to have been transported to the funeral home. You're going to send bodies from the funeral home or to the funeral home straight from the crime scene? WTF. Mm-hmm. You guys are so smart. You guys are so smart. But I do have to get going, guys. Thank you, guys. Oh, who's in here? No talkie before coffee. Girl, are you me? No talkie before coffee makes me think that 911 call response was staged. Well, it seems staged. Sounds staged to me. Sounds a little staged to me. Because, Dylan, can I, just, tell you what happened? Can I just tell you? Can I just tell you, officer? Really? Let me just tell you, officer. Bro, really? Yeah, tell me. Can I just, pretty much tell you what happened? Just, I really just want to tell you, you know? And Bethany with her dad. Oh, my daddy, call my daddy, and my tooth hurt. My teeth is be hurting, my tooth is be hurting. I need some Tylenol. It's gonna knock me out. I was wasted off of Tylenol. Cause my tooth is hurt. My tooth be hurting. And I better mention that at the sentencing. My tooth hurts. I pretty much called my daddy because my tooth hurt. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tylenol doesn't, you know, make you pass out. So, who's Charlie Kirk? What's going on, guys? I don't know. No Charlie. Charlie Kirk. Are you guys talking about the author, Charlie Kirk? Crazy. Ugh. I don't like talking about the news. It makes me sad. It's true. He was allegedly unalived. Yeah. As was that girl. Did you guys see that image of the girl on the train? That's fucking disgusting. Fucking disgusting. What was your name? Somebody sent me that this morning at 3 in the morning as I'm entering work. The Ukrainian girl, she looks like she could have been a model, you know? Irina Zarutska. She's literally just chilling on the train and this dude comes and attacks her. It was disgusting. You know what was even more disgusting to me? The fact that this woman was shanked over and over and over again while she's riding this train down in Charlotte. She's literally boarding the train, sitting in an aisle seat right in front of the suspect. 34-year-old DeCarlos Brown. She looks so tiny, man. And this man just comes, whack, 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 whack. Can't even get on a fucking train. That was really disturbing to watch. There's no interaction between the victim and the assailant. Guy literally just sits in front of her. He was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, right? He was hearing voices. He thought that she was reading his mind. She was reading my fucking mind. I need to knock that bitch out. I need to knock that bitch out. It sounds like he has mental issues. And yeah, that was all very disturbing to watch. But what was even fucking worse was everybody else. Okay? Everybody else that was in that fucking train, what did they do? Fucking nothing. Nothing. And look, it's a thing. Like, yeah, you could be scared to do the right thing. You could cower in fear and be a little bitch. Go be the little bitch that you are and go hide in the corner, okay? Okay, go be a little bitch and do nothing and watch this tiny fucking 90-pound woman get attacked and unalived. Yeah. If that's what you want to do. But there were like 4, 5, 6 people, I forget, at least 4 people, right, watching what was taking place. You're telling me that all 4 of y'all couldn't take this little ass man down? Because he looks like a twig. Like, y'all couldn't do anything. They literally just they saw what happened. You can see red fluid spraying everywhere after he shanks her. And what they're like, they're not even moving like some shit went down. They're just like, that's what it looked like to me. Yeah, he got her in the neck artery, where that's why you see the spray. Like, this is why I don't watch the news. And you're right, Suds. Maybe it's a veteran thing. Uh which is crazy because I love true crime. I love true crime. But watching this like basic all these crimes that are taking place like on a daily basis, like this woman was just doing basic everyday things, riding a train. Like it's appalling. In my opinion, the people that were there watching, doing nothing are even worse. Or just as bad as the person that committed the crime, right? Like, anyways, we've gotten off topic. Ugh. Now I'm just sick to my stomach. Look how pretty she was. Look how cute this woman was. Where is she? Literally model features. Literally model features. With that beautiful, natural, dark hair, big brown eyes, was doing nothing. Sickening. Let me know what you guys thought about this video. Let me know what you thought about the sheath. Does it even exist? Did Billy Boy, did Santa Claus plan it? Did he leave it under Maddie and Kaylee as a Christmas gift? Did he? Did he leave it there as a Christmas gift from Moscow PD? Here you go, motherfuckers. Case closed. Okay. So, thank you guys for joining me in today's live. And see you soon. Bye-bye, guys. Take care.